Hi, this is Munson with Munson Music. I'm going to talk about how you can play a song by George Jones called He Stopped Loving Her Today. And it starts off on a G major chord. When we play G major, first finger goes to the A string on the 2nd fret, second finger on the low E string 3rd fret, and third finger on the high E string 3rd fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds a G major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. Now you may also want to think about putting the 3rd finger on the B string 3rd, pinky on the high E string 3rd, and kind of using that for your G major. And then from the G, we'll be going to a C major chord. When we play C major, first finger goes to the B string on the 1st fret, second finger on the D string 2nd fret, and third finger on the A string 3rd fret. And if you strum the A string to the high E string, that sounds a C major chord, and it sounds really happy. Now you may also want to think about lifting off the first finger and making that a C major 7, or you could add in the pinky on the B string 3rd and make it a C major 9. Or another way to play C major 9 is to do first finger on the D string 2nd, second finger on the A string 3rd, third finger on the B string 3rd, and the pinky on the high E string 3rd. And if you kind of strum the A string to the high E string, it sounds a C major 9 chord, and it sounds really, really happy. And then from the C, we're going to be going to a D major chord. When we play D major, first finger goes to the G on the 2nd fret, second finger on the high E 2nd fret, and third finger on the B string 3rd fret. And if you strum the D string to the high E string, that sounds a D major chord, and it sounds really happy. Now you may also want to think about lifting off the 2nd finger and making that a D suspended 2nd, or adding in the pinky on the high E on the 3rd fret, making that a D suspended chord. Now you could say some things around the D chord. Or you may dig on the kind of a D7 sound for that, where you do first finger on the B string 1st fret, second finger on the G string 2nd, third finger on the high E 2nd fret, kind of D's evil twin brother, D7. Or you could kind of lift off the 3rd finger and kind of make that a D7 sus2. Or you could add in the pinky on the high E 3rd, make that a D suspended, or D7 suspended, and kind of work that to kind of say some things around the D7 chord. And then from there we go back to our G major, and then we do another G major. And that's basically our chord progression through the song, although there's this really cool change up to kind of work a capo actually kind of on our second chorus. There's a couple different ways to kind of work this though. We start off, we could just do downs through this, kind of a G, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, G, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I'm kind of working on a little bit of muting through it. C, kind of make that a little sneaky. D, a lot of times with a song like this, I'd use a strum pattern. One of my favorite strum patterns for a 4/4 like this is down, down, up, up, down, up. So we took the G and just tried that a lot. You'd have down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, up. So we tried that through our verse chorus. We'd have the G, down, up, down, up, G, down, up, down, up, C, down, up, down, up, C, down, up, down, up, B, down, up, down, up, B, down, up, down, up, G, down, up, down, up, G, down, up, down, up. Now something else you may want to add to the song too is bass notes. And a lot of times on that first down of the down, down, up, down, up, you could throw in a bass for the chord. So on the G you'd have low E for the bass. On the C you'd have the A for the bass. So kind of a bass, down, up, down. But on the D you'd have the D for the bass. Or the D7 you'd have the D for the bass. You'd have the G with low E bass, G with low E bass. Or another strum pattern that we kind of work is kind of a country feel. It's kind of a slow idea here, but well, one of the what a bass player does in a country tune is a lot of times they'll play something called the root of the chord, which is what we're using for our bass, and then you can kind of do a down up to kind of fill in the time, and then they alternate that note with what's called the 5th of the chord. So on the G chord, you'd have G, A, B, C, D. A D note is the 5th, so we could do low E string for the root, and then a down up, and then do the D string for your 5th, and then another down up. So you have G with low E bass, down up, D bass, down up, G with low E bass, down up, D bass, down up. And then on the C chord, to get that same sound, you could kind of work the A string 3rd to the low E string 3rd. So kind of A string 3rd, low E string 3rd, to kind of get a C note and a G note to kind of come out. And then on the D chord, you'd have the D to the A string to get that same kind of sound. So kind of working kind of a country feel. G, kind of hear some bass walks through the tune. We're on the G chord. You may want to do that low E string for the fifth or the root, and then that G right before the A, you can kind of play open A to lead the second fret on the A. It's kind of an A, B note to lead into the C chord. And then kind of on that C right before the D, you may want to do the third on the A, and then kind of a third on the A to fourth fret on the A to a C sharp note to lead into the D chord. And that could be kind of cool. And to get back, you can even kind of throw in an open E, and then an F sharp note on the low E second to lead back to the G. So it's kind of a bass walk kind of idea with the country feel. So this can be kind of cool. So you'd have kind of the G with the root, fifth, and then kind of that 3 down, up, low, 2 to lead to the C, fifth, C, and then that C, C sharp leads to D, fifth, root, and then that open E, second fret on the low E, G, play around with it that way. Now, through the tune though, what it really sounds like is kind of some arpeggio ideas. And if you're interested in doing fingerstyle with this, what can be very cool is basically your thumb becomes your bass player for the E and the A and the D string, and you can kind of line up your index finger on the G string, middle finger on the B string, and ring finger on the high E string. So it's like your fingers have a division of labor. It's like your thumb's job is to play the bass note, and then you can kind of do index and then middle ring to kind of fill in the time. And what could sound really cool is to do kind of a thumb, index, middle ring, and then alternate your basses between the root and the fifth. So you have kind of that on the G chord, you'd have kind of thumb, index, middle ring, and the D string for the fifth, root, fifth, and then on the C, you'd be doing the A string for your bass and alternating that with the thumb. And then on the D chord, you'd have the D for your root and the A for the fifth, kind of alternating with the thumb. And then you'd be back to your G. Middle ring, so it's kind of a root, index, middle ring, fifth, index, middle ring kind of idea. C, C, and we're kind of breaking up the chords there, and that's called an arpeggio when you kind of break up the chord that way. Now, if you're kind of digging on the bass walks though, what can be kind of cool to get those in is that you could kind of do the G with kind of that root, index, middle ring, and then hit the A, and then do an index finger to kind of fill time, and then second fret on the A, and then another index. So it's kind of a bass, index to get that lick in there. So you'd have kind of the G, but then thumb, index to kind of lead into the C chord, and then we have our C chord, and then kind of thumb, index, with that 3, 4, and then the D, index, G. So it's a little weird kind of mixing up the pattern to get those walks in there. G, G, A, B, C, C, 3, 4, D, D, 2, 3, to kind of work that in there. So you may kind of dig on that. And we'll basically be repeating that chord progression actually through the entire song. However, on that first chorus actually, you'll kind of hear where at the very end, after that last G, we would actually kind of take, and if you have an elastic capo, this can help with this, because you can kind of roll it over actually with the thumb, but it almost be like you put the capo on and then do the D chord to lead into kind of that second chorus. So this is a little weird, but on the second chorus, you have kind of that G, grab capo and put it on, and then you go to D. And then we go right back into our regular progression. So we're back to our G, G, C, C, D, G. And you'd be repeating that for the rest of the song. But that's the basics of how you can strum through and fingerstyle through He Stopped Loving Her Today by George Jones. So good luck!